Hello students, I'm back. This one is on using the pen tool. It's very important that you learn how to use the pen tool because you will need to trace things eventually. And let me show an example of that real quick. For instance, if you were to pull down, if you were to pull down a JPEG and it was in a small format, you probably would want to you'd need to create a sharper version of that JPEG somehow. And sometimes using Photoshop's interpolation doesn't really work that well. So the next best thing is to use the pen tool and to trace the object. Here's an example. This is the original um, clip art that was pulled down. It was really small. This is a very large scale image, and I was able to use the pen tool and trace it and clean it up like this one right here. Doesn't look so much better than that blob. So that's just an example right there. So go ahead and open a new document. As if you were watching, you would have seen 1600 by 1200. If not, open it now. You'll be on page. And then go ahead and open that tracing.psd. I'm sorry, pentool.psd document on Edmodo. And I want you to copy it over and close it because we no longer need it. This is what we're going to be working on. You're going to need to transform it. It's a little big. And put it somewhere on the screen. There we go. And let's hide it because we're not going to use it just yet. Let's play with the pen tool first. P on your keyboard. Those are the shortcut keys. P for pen, A for direct selection, and path selection. Black arrow, white arrow. These arrows down here. Selection tools down here. Not this selection tool up here. Not the move tool. It's A on your keyboard. So let's start with the path selection tool, or I'm sorry, let's start with the pen tool and let's draw some pen lines here. So we hit pen tool and look across the control panel and make sure you're in shape layers, and standard pen, not freeform pen, standard pen. And we're not drawing shapes, although you could really quickly up here, or custom shapes. And just create new shape layers should be checked. You do have add to, subtract from, intersect to, with, and anyway, just make sure it's on new shape layer. And I want you to click one time, bam, click again, and notice it makes a straight line. Click again right here, down, up, over, and at the beginning. There we go. Now it looks like we just created some lines there, and yours might look different because of the color on your keyboard. Default color on your toolbar when you first started clicking, but it should have filled with something. You should see that something here. You've created a vector mask on a fill layer. So once you've done that and you clicked at the very beginning, and let me undo that, all of that real quick. Click once, click down, over, and notice it fills as you're working. Don't think you did something wrong just because it fills on the wrong side. You're not done with the image. So just keep on working it and get back to the middle at the beginning, and it turns into a circle. Once you see the circle, it says close path. It doesn't say it, but that's what that means. When it turns into a circle, you want to click and close the path. Change the color at any time. Bam, you can give it layer effects, anything you want, you know the drill, something like this, anyway. And you've created a shape layer. Now let's adjust that shape layer. You don't have to give it effects if you don't want to, it's up to you. Let's quickly adjust it by hitting A on our keyboard for path selection. And once we click it, notice we can move it. And we're moving the path. Click away, move back over it, click it again, and try to move the ends. And notice you cannot move the ends with the path selection tool. You have to choose the direct selection tool. Deselect, so nothing is selected, and then move your mouse over it. Click the path again, the shape, and pull the white clear points wherever you want to move them. Okay, so that's what's cool about making things with the pen tool, because you can make little pointy lines anytime you want to, just like this. Perfect. Now let's make some curvy lines. What do you say? Alright, deselect by holding down Command and clicking anywhere but the shape. And let's get the pen tool again. This time click one time, and your second click, I want you to click and drag and make a curve. Those are called Bezier curves, Bezier curves. And if you hold down the Shift key while you're clicking and dragging, it will keep the line on a perpendicular angle, just like that. Now, when you've clicked and dragged, you've made handles, and you still have that last handle selected right there. Okay, so the next time you click, it's going to want to create the path from that point to the next handle that you click on. If you click and drag, it'll make another curved handle. If you just click, it'll make a angled handle, much like these angles over here. So I'm going to click and drag further. There we go. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to close the path by resting over the middle, getting my circle, and clicking. And voila, I've made another shape that I can easily move. And notice it already added the layer effects to it. You see that? It's awesome. And it's on its own layer, so you can change its color at any time. But anyway, you can change most importantly, the handles, moving these handles. So deselect, select the object right on the path, and when you click, you can bend these handles to adjust the shapes, just like this. So pretty much you can trace any object. You can be almost exactly precise. Now some of these angles are, this one is partially pointy. You see that right there? This one over here is got both handles on both sides, so I can make it as round as I want it to be. If you can think about adding to the shape, you can add to the shape by hitting P for our pen tool, and when you rest over a selected pen path, it turns into Add Anchor Point. I've just added an anchor point. I hit A for my direct selection tool, and now I can move that anchor point. Okay, if I click and I want to have a corner, maybe I want to subtract an anchor point. So I hit my P for my pen tool and move over the anchor. If you move over an anchor, the white square, the main point, it turns into a minus symbol saying, hey, you want to take away that anchor? And I say, yeah. Now I've got a pointy anchor here and a partially round anchor here. Let me adjust this. I've clicked it twice to add another anchor point, and I can smooth that out by pulling this handle this way and maybe adjusting this one just a little bit. And this one is a little tight there. There we go. Something like that. So that's how to use the pen tool. What I want you to do is trace this dude with the pen tool. So make him active. Let's drag him to the top and lock him and get our pen tool, P. Make sure neither of these are selected, because I don't want to add to these points. I want to trace this on its own layer. So none of those are selected, and I don't even need to see those. Put those away. And I want you to zoom in, and I want you to trace Hopper Dude with the bat in his hand. So click and drag for curvy point, curvy point, curvy point. And remember, it's okay when it fills with a color. If that bothers you, you can always adjust the opacity while you're working so you can see what's below you. Did you see that? I adjust the opacity right here. And just keep on moving. And you should be able to do it in one fell swoop. But if you don't, that's fine. You can do multiple shapes just as long as you trace the dude. All right? Trace him and fill him with black. turn in a JPEG here, and save this file as a Photoshop document file. Very important, because we're going to work forward with this. But trace him and make me a JPEG in black all the way opaque, like this right here, if he were the whole thing. Got it? See ya.